Hello ladies and gentlemen, CrystallisTV here, and I'm welcoming you back to a new walkthrough slash playthrough. Today I'll be starting ArcaniA Gothic 4, but as you know me, before I get into the whole playthrough thingy, I like to touch a bit about the history of how this game came to be, and obviously the developers, because this part of the, let's say, history of the whole franchise and developers is kind of interesting. Obviously, if you're a Gothic fan, you know the history, but if you are new, then you might want to hear this. Now, as you all know, Gothic, the franchise, is actually developed by was developed by Piranha Bytes, right? At least the first, actually the first three installments, that is. First installment obviously was successful for its time. Then came the second installment where they partnered with Joe Wood. Even though apparently they were trying to create a DLC for Gothic 1, but then when they partnered with Joe Wood, obviously the publisher, which was Joe Wood, they decided no, go for next installment. Don't create a DLC, just go for the next installment. So they dropped that one. When they made the contract, obviously they were like in infant stage. It was something new for them. They passed the copyrights from, they gave the copyrights basically to Joe Wood, to the publisher. Obviously Gothic 2 came out and the DLC, and it was a huge success if you ask me for its time. Obviously the internet was not what it is today, the marketing and everything, it was everything was in infant stage, right, compared to today. But it was a good game for its time. It was a good game. Then came Gothic 3, and that's where pretty much Joe Wood they pretty much fucked up Piranha Bytes, right? Because they had the copyrights. So obviously there was the whole process and prosecution and whatnot, whatever. Obviously Joe Wood kinda won, so there was nothing Piranha Bytes could do because they gave the copyrights to Joe Wood. So yeah, that was a lesson they had to learn. Luckily, it was temporary, so after some couple of years later, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years, whatever, the copyrights came back to Joe Wood. Thank God. Sorry, to Piranha Bytes, not Joe Wood, Piranha Bytes. Obviously, Gothic 3, Joe Wood basically released Gothic 3 unfinished. It was still like between 1 and 2 years of work, according to Piranha Bytes, what they stated back then. But they didn't care. They basically tried to sabotage Piranha Bytes and try to make a quick buck for themselves and try to launch themselves as because Joe Wood they themselves were in infant stage as well. But they tried to like a parasite, like attaching itself to the host and try to feed off the host and grow, basically. Obviously Gothic 3 they got fixed by the community. Then came the DLC, Forsaken Gods, where basically Joe Wood cut off 2/3 of the map. They only left Mirthana, and they cut off Varant and Nordmar completely. They just removed that. Obviously they partnered with Spellbound, I think was Spellbound, whatever. I can't remember the name of that studio. I don't think they are even around anymore. But yeah, Gothic 3 DLC came out. Big drop off, like literally people were pissed off, like what? I mean, yeah, it's a DLC, but what the hell is this? People were pissed off. So the first, when they released Gothic 3, that was the first red flag, right, for the fans. Then came the DLC, second big red flag. But we were we were fans, we were suckers, we were hoping that they were gonna make it right for us, you know, like. But that didn't happen. Obviously they start releasing some pictures. Let me show you. Yeah, see, some wallpapers, art, concept, stuff like that. When we're seeing this, we're like, holy shit, is the game gonna look like this? And they were like, yeah, pretty much. I mean, the game looks a bit similar, like obviously you see the theme, but we're like, yeah, nice, it's good, yeah. And obviously they were taunting us with missions and side quests, and especially I remember like this one particular. They were saying like, oh, you're gonna have magic that it's gonna look like you are controlling the weather when you're using magic, and everybody was like, yes, good, nice, awesome, because in Gothic, using magic, it always felt like privilege, you know. That's how it felt like, you know. This is how the original developers, they created, right? When they created the game, they wanted to make like magic something like only reserved to only very specific people, you know. And we were like very like, yes, okay, good. Obviously the game came out, big disaster. Everybody, they were expecting to take like 40-50 hours to finish it, and people were finishing the game in like 10 hours. Okay, let's say maybe 15 hours, 20 hours if you want to take everything off the map, you know, stuff like that, like wasting time, like if you're a scavenger like me, basically. And people got pissed off, they asked for refunds, I remember. Yeah, people were just, the fans were just, oh my, disappointed. Obviously came the DLC, what's called Fall of Setarif. Fans were hoping that Joe Wood and Spellbound, I think Spellbound was the name of the developer of the spin-off, because basically ArcaniA is a spin-off. It's not, it's got nothing to do with original Gothic. We were hoping as fans that they're gonna fix the game, at least to some extent. But no, it was the same shit, nothing added new. Just basically they created the map, added to the story, they continued the story, and that's pretty much, you know, nothing new. Basically everything same old, same old. Obviously people got pissed off, again, refunds asking. I remember there were some hackers, they were hacking the game and giving free to the people, because obviously the developers, the game didn't basically deserve, and the developers didn't deserve the money. It is what it is. Of course, as I said, after that, they went bankrupt. To be honest, I'm not hoping for nobody to go bankrupt, but I was kind of enjoying that, and I was hoping that they would go bankrupt. And thank God they went bankrupt, because that's apart from the whole what I like to call parasite approach, you know, you as a studio, apart from that, that's not like morally okay. Not only that, but at least if you as a developer would give the fans like something to, let's say, cover up your what you did, right? Like take away their attention for what you've done. Well, at least we were expecting as a fan that, okay, or at least give us something nice, okay, so we can forgive you. But obviously they didn't deliver, so it is what it is. So yeah, basically, as I said, copyrights went back to Piranha Bytes. Now there's a Gothic remake. It's gonna launch in June. We are in April. Yeah, I think we are 13 or 14 of April. So fingers crossed. I've already detected some, from what I've seen from videos on Gothic remake, some things that I feel like they should be in the game, but obviously I'm gonna play the Gothic remake with all three camps, and then at the end when I'm playing the game, because I want to have the whole picture, I'm gonna obviously comment on the game, because for me Gothic is like my teenage period is right there, right? So yeah, I'm a big fan of Gothic. What can I say? So yeah, that's pretty much it. The rest is any other detail you obviously, if you want, you can search on Google. A few side notes. As I said, I'm gonna play 3 walkthroughs. Oh, I didn't say that. I'm saying now. I'll play as a ranger, and obviously I'll be focusing on items that gives me range, endurance, and endurance regeneration, health, and health regen. As a second walkthrough will be as a full tank. I'll be focusing on armor, health regen, mana, health regen, endurance regen, health regen, and that's pretty much it. I'm not focusing on melee power, because if you ask me, tank or melee fighter is probably the most overpowered of all the three. fighting styles, and I'm trying to reduce the power of that fighting style, and third one will be as a full glass cannon mage, basically focusing on ability power, mana, and mana regen. Obviously any other health regen, endurance regen, it's a bonus, but yeah, that's pretty much it. So yeah, obviously I'm gonna touch in each area because this is a sandbox game, right? I'm gonna touch what they could have added. They didn't have to do the whole remake on it, but they could have added a few side quests here and there, change a few things, obviously. But yeah, I'll just touch when I'm in the game. I'm gonna say what I have to say, and then I'm just gonna keep on playing, right? So yeah, look, as you can see, the artwork when they released it, we were like excited. Man, looks fine, looks amazing, like yeah. But yeah, that's everything that it was to it, basically. Just concept. And when they released, obviously the pictures and everything were like, holy shit. And they were like, this is like the finished product. And they were like, no, this is, we're still working on it and stuff like that. And we're like, okay, nice, good, keep up, guys. But yeah, that's history. Big disappointment. Anyway, so yeah, guys, without further ado, let's begin, and we'll take it from here. But before I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna shut off my camera, because obviously you don't need to see me. You want to see the game, not me, right? So yeah, let's begin. Obviously I'm gonna my details, graphic details, everything is at maximum, everything. I'm not using any texture mode, like overall texture mode. Just obviously missing Patio for Leicester, neutral, skin, the ones you find on the internet, basically. But I prefer to use the enhancing abilities of my video card instead, because I feel like the game looks much better with your enhancing abilities from your video card than, let's say, grab some FX and whatever effects, whatever mode from internet. I prefer it this way. So yeah, without further ado, let's begin.
Midland was burning, for Robar II was dead, his realm crumbling. His crown now rested on the brow of Robar III, once a champion of Enos, who has sworn to reunite the realm. Destiny seemed to smile on Robar III, and soon he claimed the entire continent as his own. But as he was setting sail to reclaim the southern islands, a shadow fell upon the king and darkened his mind. By the time his troops had landed on the island of Argon and taken Thorniara, the king's mind was no more than a flickering candle in the dark.
The amulet? I must fight. Fight. Fight.
Robar's generals executed his orders to the letter. Lord Hagen led his men to the west of the island, while Lee headed east to lay siege to the royal city of Satarif.
Right. One small note. I remember people were pissed off because the main character from the first three installments of Gothic was basically not even a side character, like a second character. He was basically just a character. He was no longer like, I don't know, like part of the storyline, basically.
Quiet. I need peace and quiet.
He was kinda pushed aside completely, and people got pissed off because of that. Yeah, so basically you are dreaming now
back.
what the
Come back and
the
fight
king's nightmares. Basically, you're dreaming what the king is dreaming. Basically, yeah. Coming to this area, I remember when they teased the game, like the first area you're fighting undead. Everybody was like, "Holy shit, man! This game is gonna be dope, man! We're already fighting undead from the very beginning. Wow, this is gonna be awesome. It's gonna be brutal hard."
Ivy?
Not even
Did you
close.
have nightmares again?
Yes, with the king in the cave.
It's because you've been sleeping the whole day.
Did you come here just to wind me up?
No, my father's looking for you.
Gromar? What does he want?
No idea. He's in a foul mood, though. He's waiting for you in the village.
Well, I'd better go and talk to him then. How about a kiss?
Not now.
All right. Okay, real quick. You're gonna see me probably a lot of time activating debug display. Basically, this one shows everything or every item that is on the map, right? Even the ones that you don't normally. I mean, you can interact with them, but obviously I have this deactivated. But in some areas, like for example, forest area, especially blood value of blood, you are gonna miss a lot of plants. So this one is helpful just to find them, you know, easily. So yeah, I just wanted to point this one out. Right, so here's the first thing, right? Remember the orcs in Gothic 3? Like the way they looked like and they acted like. You felt like they were just waiting for a reason to fight you, not to basically beat the shit out of you, right? Well, these guys, on the other hand, they are the opposite. Like, you know, the whole transhumanism thingy? Right, well, we have orcism, if that makes sense. Anyway, yeah, I just wanted to point this one out. I mean, this guy did just look like retarded, you know, and they sound
Hello, Orruk.
retarded.
Oh, Shepherd. Gromar's been looking for you.
Do you know why Gromar's looking for me?
No idea. But you better run, Shepherd. Gromar's been looking for you for quite some time already. Not talk now. Talk later.
Ah, there you are. Son, is that blood?
Don't worry. It was just a sheep.
By all the gods! Not again! You're supposed to tend them, not slaughter them.
It's okay. I'm sorry.
That's what you said last time.
Interesting. I never heard this conversation
Got to take care of
before.
something else, my boy.
Hold on a second. Did I kill all the sheeps or not? I never heard this conversation before, to be honest. Maybe one sheep like escaped. Oh yeah, yeah. Okay. Really? Wow. So now I don't know if you go back to her. I don't know if she's gonna say the other. You're gonna have the other dialogue or not.
All good?
Let me see.
What was all that noise about? What's wrong with the sheep?
Yeah,
I've
exactly.
slaughtered them all.
But why? Why?
I'm fed up with sheep. I don't want to be a shepherd anymore.
Sometimes I don't know who you are.
Nice. I never knew until now, to be honest, that there's a second dialogue. Alright, let's... first I'm gonna grab everything. No, actually no. Yeah. Let's grab everything. Okay, let's kill Bonnie and Clyde. It's funny that nobody is talking about the chickens that you're slaughtering them. For example, in Gothic 3, if you kill the livestock of a city or even the area where the rebels were hiding, yeah, they will kill you eventually. They'll start fighting you. Or, yeah, they'll turn enemy at some point. If you're stealing for too many times, you're getting caught. Well, not getting caught, but obviously first time they will ask you if you're stealing or if you know anything, and then at some point you'll just, yes, they'll say, yeah, it's you, because obviously you're a new guy here, so yeah. And here you can steal everything, you can, yeah, nobody's saying anything. A lot of content like missing, basically. If let's say Gothic, the first 3 installments of Gothic were like, no, I don't want to talk to you yet. They were like, it felt like swimming in a sea, in a deep sea. Well, this one feels like swimming in a shallow lake. Yeah, this game is just good to, to relax. Coming from work and you want to play a game that doesn't imply to use your brain a lot, you just hack and slash and that's it. Yeah, this game is good for that. I apologize, I'm a bit not sick, but my nose is a bit like dripping. I don't know if that's the right word, but yeah, got too much mucus. Oh, I've been there. So as you can see, it's good to have this debug mode on. This way you're not missing anything, to be honest. And since this game is notoriously known for having a lot of bugs, you'll see even in this region, there's a hidden chest. Well, actually, it's a chest, but it doesn't appear on the map, so you'll see immediately what I'm talking about. Yeah, it's annoying, when you have the endurance mode on installed. Yeah, you have to wait if your endurance is low in order to jump. Alright, let's speak with this guy. Okay, let me turn this off.
Hey, Halwyn. How are you?
A little concerned about a ship I noticed on the horizon a while ago.
What kind of a ship do you think it is?
A Myrtanian warship? I hope not, but it's possible.
And he's right.
Ah, there you are.
Have you seen the ship out at sea as well?
Don't worry, my son. It must be one of the traders, Farron or Elgin. They haven't been here for months, since the war on Argan broke out.
Hurry! My father doesn't like to wait long.
Okay, let's speak with this guy. I think he also has something to say now. Yep.
Have you seen the ship out at sea as well?
Will be Ferrin. Shepherd is coming with fresh supply. It's high time.
Hallwind's afraid it might be one of Robar the Third's warships.
No warship. The war's on at Arcane. Far away. Won't reach us, Shepherd.
Sorry, Shepherd. I can't let you through.
Why is that?
I have trouble with mole rats on my fields. I won't let anyone cross the bridge until I get rid of those creatures. Else they might bite someone.
You've got mole rats on your fields? But they don't tolerate sun, do they?
The sunlight doesn't particularly do them good, but they're still dangerous.
Wait, what the hell? You don't have priority. Okay. That's it. Nothing here? No. Okay. So here's the chest I was talking about. I think the developers, they forgot like to make it visible, to add the texture. Look, see, there's a chest here. And I only learned about it recently, right? I didn't know this thing even existed. Alright, let's speak with Gromar now.
What is it you're doing behind my back?
Oh, you mean the... I can explain.
Oh, really?
I just want to learn something.
Sure, and my sheep can dance. Stay away from my daughter.
From your daughter? Oh, of course, we want to stay modest until we get married. I want to become a decent man.
You want to marry my daughter?
I love her, and she loves me.
Love. Before you marry Ivy, you'll need to pass 3 trials. It's a tradition in my family.
3 trials? All right. What's the plan then?
Do you know where you can find Melgan's tomb?
Melgan's tomb. Right behind Nut's farm.
Right. Enter the crypt, take Melgan's dagger from his grave, and bring it to me.
Yeah, Melgan is basically belongs to a royal family, and apparently this farmer, I mean your character, is a descendant. Melgan was considered a bastard, pretty much, right?
So, have you got Melgan's dagger?
No.
Why not? I thought you cared about my daughter.
What did my father want?
Test me.
Test you?
Yes. Have you told him about us?
I'm not that stupid.
Well, someone else must have told him about us then.
What now?
Now I'll recover Melgan's dagger from his grave so we can get married.
You want to marry me?
Don't you?
Sure, it just comes so quickly.
Who would tell your father about us?
Orruk, maybe.
You told Orruk about us?
No, he saw us and we quarreled about it. Everything all right?
Yeah, you'll hear and see a lot of discrepancies between what an NPC says and what is written, and even in the tone of how they speak. You'll see a lot of these. As I said, the
Cromar
game
found
is
out about me and
unpolished.
Ivy. Do you know who could have betrayed us?
I might have an idea.
Who?
Nut. He saw you sometime and looked pretty irritated. Apparently, he was in high hopes of himself.
Good day, Shepherd.
Tell me, was it you who told Gromar about Ivy and me?
Orruk told nothing. Orruk likes the young lady.
So, who would tell Gromar about us?
Orruk says Nut told this. He's always after the young lady and looks at her with big eyes.
Right, he likes the young lady. They should have said instead he appreciates the young lady, because this sounds so stupid, you know, like, hey, if it's your girlfriend, why an orc is interested in her?
Everything all right?
Sorry, Shepherd. I can't let you cross the bridge. I've got trouble with mole rats in my fields. Until I get rid of them, people are better off staying in the village.
Gromar wants me to go to Melgan's grave.
Ah, Gromar. In that case, I'll let you pass.
Well, I should think so.
Listen, Shepherd, I'll tell you what.
What is it?
I'll give you my club if you kill the mole rats on my fields.
Then give it to me. I'll take care of the mole rats. Did you tell Gromar about Ivy and me?
Why would I?
Jealousy?
If Ivy loves you, she should be with you. I couldn't care less.
Yeah, look at this. You'll see a lot of these. Like, yeah, it is what it is.
And Shepherd, did you slay the mole rats?
Easy, Nut. I'm working on it.
Also, I want to point out that I'll try to like get all the dialogue in my walkthroughs. I was always fascinated about dialogues and storyline and how they actually they tell the storyline. That's I've always been fascinated about this in all games, more or less about gameplay and all that. So yeah, I'm gonna fast forward from now on. Like, obviously I'm gonna fast forward when I'm hacking and slashing, basically, because you're not interested in just see 1-2 hours of hack and slash, right? So yeah, let's begin.
Are you back again? Did you slay the mole rats?
The mole rats are dead and your fields are safe again.
Hey,
I would have expected a thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Is it possible that Gromar sent you to Melgan's grave too?
What makes you think that?
Someone ignited a jar of Galwak oil in the crypt to drive the mole rats outside. Don't you use the oil to chase away the wild animals from your fields?
What if I do?
Stay away from Ivy Nut, or you'll regret it.
Now this area, it has, if you ask me, at least 2 side quests that they could have added. First one, there's a missing sheep in the deer thickets, where the area where you go to hunt for the deers, and basically you're supposed to bring that one to the ships. You can, if you're taking you go with it to the ships, right? She will just leave you when you're reaching that sheep, the sheep herd, right? So they could have added another side quest. That one, and a second one is basically where the witch from the forest tells you that your mother is not the real mother, it's an adoptive mother. So they could have added a second mission there and go back to ask your mother about the if this is true, right? Basically.
Have you got the dagger?
Here is Melgan's dagger.
Oh well. The first trial was the easiest anyway.
What's the second one?
You need to show you're able to protect Ivy.
Do you want to fight me?
No. Some smuggler seems to have settled down by the mountain lake. Drive him away from our island and bring me his weapon as a proof.
The gate to the pond is closed. I'll need the key if I'm to take care of this smuggler.
Sure. Here it is. And now go. Do something useful.
And Shepherd, did you bring the dagger?
Yes, Orruk. I brought Melgan's dagger to Gromar.
The young lady will be very proud of you. Very proud.
All right.
Tell me, do you know if Nut asked for Ivy's hand as well?
No idea. Why do you think so?
Well, someone ignited a jar of Galwak oil in the crypt to drive the mole rats outside. And something tells me it was Nut.
Like I said, I have no idea.
Could you ask around? I'd really like to know if my suspicions are right.
Sure, no problem. Just come back later.
I'm gonna keep the points because obviously I'm not gonna do this area 3 times. I'm just gonna do it 1 time and that's it. And I'm gonna copy the save when you reach the mainland, and then I'm just gonna load that save game every time to start the next walkthrough.
I am so proud.
So yeah, I'm keeping the points to
I'm going to
put them
Ivy.
in what I
Oh,
actually
that's
need.
Wonderful. Have you spoken to Gromar yet? You'll need his permission.
Yes. He wants me to pass 3 trials.
Then do your best, my son.
I passed the first trial and retrieved Melgan's dagger from his tomb.
Well done, my son. And what is your next task?
I'm to drive away the smuggler from our island.
What? Then I'm terribly worried about you.
Don't you worry, Alma. I'll manage.
So,
All right.
I tried to eavesdrop on you, but couldn't hear a thing. What does my father want now?
He gave me the key you normally steal from his nightstand for me.
Why?
I am to drive away Diego from the island.
But that's going to be difficult.
I'll speak with Diego. Maybe he'll come up with something.
Not now, later.
here you are again, my friend. How are your bruises doing?
Not too bad.
Oh, in that case, do you want to practice again?
I'd like to, but...
But what?
Gromar ordered me to drive you away from the island and bring him your saber as proof.
Really? Now why'd he want to do that?
Oh, it's a trial or something. Before I marry Ivy.
Well then, you've got a problem.
Looks like it. What are we going to do now?
I need to return to Argan soon anyway. Show me that you have learned something from me, and I will give you an old, notched machete for Gromar.
Do you know why Gromar wants to get rid of you?
Well, my friend, I guess it's because he owes me money. Or he wanted to give you a trial that you'd never pass.
Isn't Gromar going to figure out the scam with the machete?
Nah, he's never even been here himself. He sends Orruk, his servant, to purchase goods from me.
Let's fight!
Not bad. I surrender.
Oh, you're getting old. Will you give me the machete now?
Easy, easy, my friend. First you'll show me you can also fight against someone who doesn't wish you well.
Oh, he's not saying anything yet.
Who should I fight then?
If you head down the path to the beach, you'll find some goblins skulking around my boat. They skedaddle every time I come near, and I'm too lazy to chase after them. Take care of them for me, and I'll give you the machete. Off you go. Take care of the goblins.
Oh, Diego, I mean, your friends, your old new friends, basically. Yeah, Diego was done okay, like voice acting and everything. But Gorn and the others, well, not so much. You only Milton, maybe only Milton.
Nice to see you.
Oh, there she is. Yeah.
So what did Diego say?
If I can show him that I learned from him, he'll give me his old machete.
Well, then you better get to work.
I caught the goblins. They are dead.
Ah, now, my friend, you really proved you know your business.
Hallwyn says he spotted a ship on the horizon this morning. Could it have been Mertanian?
Could be.
Do you think they're going to attack?
Your island is too small and insignificant for that. They're probably headed for Argan somewhere. After all, there is a war going on there.
So you'll give me the machete now?
Yes, here it is. Send my best to old Gromar. Oh, you better not. After all, you've driven me away from the island.
What can you tell me about the war on Argan?
Well, my friend, the last time I was on Argan, Satarif was still besieged by Robar's troops. Ethorn the Sixth holds his town still, but nobody knows how long he can hold back the Myrtanians.
Is Satarif the only place they're fighting?
No. The Myrtanians have sent a second army into the Thorniaran Gorge. Lord Gawain and Ethorn the Sixth brother defends the gorge. So there is some action there as well.
What kind of man is Robar III?
He used to be a great hero, who fought on Enos' side against the avatars of Beliar. But now he is only a shadow of his former self. A strange sickness has befallen him and darkened his soul.
Sickness? What kind of sickness?
No idea. I had to leave the king shortly after he fell ill.
Leave the king? You mean you were one of his warriors?
His advisor.
What? You? The advisor of Robar III? How did you... What? Why did you leave the king?
That, my friend, is a long story. Maybe I'll tell you one day, but not today. I'm busy. Come back later.
What about that smuggler? Did you drive him away?
I drove the smuggler away. Here's the proof.
Not bad. But don't get your hopes up too soon. One trial is still to be passed.
What is it?
You have to prove to me that you can provide for Ivy. So I want you to hunt 3 big and strong deer, and to bring their antlers to me as a proof.
I have no bow. Can you lend me one?
No. After all, you have legs and a machete. In my time, we had to slay boars with our bare hands.
I'll manage then.
We'll see. I told Ivy to open the gate to the deer thickets for you when you're done with the smuggler. Just go see her. Stags up pretty quick. No shame if you give up now.
Never. For Ivy, I'd run to the world's end if need be.
Good day, shepherd. Not talk now.
Have you found out anything about Nut?
Yes, you were right. Nut really asked for Ivy's hand. But he already failed to get Melgan's dagger. A couple of mole rats fled deeper into the crypt, so we didn't dare step closer to Melgan's grave.
Thanks, Solon.
Anytime.
Wouldn't have thought that. How are your wedding plans, my son? Did you get Gromar's permission?
I drove the smuggler away from the island.
I didn't think you'd be up to that.
I'm strong, and you taught me to be brave.
You've always been afraid of water, though.
Not afraid, Mother. The sea's just too wet for me. I prefer dry land.
Yeah, that's stupid. I mean, they found this excuse so they don't add water content. Like, oh, you're too afraid. Might say you don't know how to swim, and that's it. Like, what the hell? That would be more plausible than just being too wet for you. That's so stupid.
I heard you asked for Ivy's hand as well, but failed to retrieve Melgan's dagger.
So you think you're the greatest, huh? If the mole rats had eaten you, I'd have brought the dagger from the damned crypt.
Your loss. The mole rats didn't eat me.
Just go away and leave me in peace.
So, did Diego give you the machete?
He did. I've already shown it to your father.
What did Diego ask of you for it?
He wanted me to kill some goblins. And that's what I did.
You fought goblins? Really?
That's right. Now I need to hunt a few stags.
How are you going to accomplish that?
I'll chase them until they drop.
Oh, I'd like to see that.
You're a huntress, aren't you? Can't you give me your bow?
I can't give it to you. It'd be against the rules. But I accidentally left it inside the hunting blind. You can go fetch it there.
Thanks, Ivy.
Wait, I'll unlock the gate for you. Have fun with the stags. And if you run out of arrows, come and see me. I'll slip you some.
All good? Did you drive the smuggler away, Shepherd?
Yes, I drove the smuggler away.
Shepherd. Why is Gromar talking about some old notched machete? The smuggler has a saber.
You aren't going to tell Gromar, are you?
No worries, Shepherd. Orruk is glad. With the smuggler, Orruk makes deals here in the village. Without smuggler, Orruk makes no deals. Orruk prefers having the smuggler on the island. Thank you, Shepherd, for not driving him away.
Did you bag the deer?
Here are the antlers. Are they magnificent enough?
Yes, they are.
Then I have your blessing.
You do. Here, take this relic as a sign of my consent.
What kind of relic is it?
Many years ago, my grandfather brought it here from Argan. They say there are many more there like this one. He who finds them all will achieve glory and riches. Whenever my grandfather talked about it, he had a big grin on his face.
Oh, yeah?
Well, nobody will ever manage to find all the relics on Argan. After all, one of them's here in Feshyr. You do, but you'll have to do one more thing.
Another trial?
No trial, my son. You'll need an engagement bangle for Ivy and her consent.
A bangle? I guess I should talk to Holwyn about it. Maybe he can help me.
You do that, my son.
I think there's a small dialogue missing here. You're supposed to say, "Do I have your blessing now?" And then he says, "Yes, you do, my son."
Don't you have it?
Whatever.
So did Gromar consent at last?
Yes, he just did.
Well, congratulations.
All I need now is an engagement bangle for Ivy, but I can't afford one, actually.
Speak to Orruk. He found some amber on the beach a couple of days ago. Get some from him, and I'll make you a bangle.
You do that?
Sure. What are friends for? Tell me, did you really drive away the smuggler near the waterfall? I thought you had become friends.
I did not chase Diego away.
So where did you get the machete from you showed Gromar?
Diego gave it to me, because I killed some goblins for him. But keep that to yourself, eh? Nobody needs to know.
Sure, silent as a grave I am.
Yeah, after the main character, I shouted out loud, Diego gave it to me. For killing some goblins, like, what the hell? You see, inconsistency. That's the problem.
Everything all right? No, I don't have any time right now.
How are your wedding plans, my son? Did you get Gromar's permission?
Gromar has given me his blessing.
I'm proud of you, son.
All I need now is an engagement bangle for Ivy. And her consent.
She'll give it to you, no doubt. I'll go and talk to Orruk. Maybe he can get me some linen, so I can sew something nice for the wedding.
Everything all right? Shepard.
Orruk, I heard you found some amber on the beach.
Yes, Shepard. Beautiful amber.
Could I get it off you?
To keep?
Yeah, I need it for an engagement bangle for Ivy.
Orruk is a servant and trader.
So?
Trader Orruk wants gold.
I have none.
Servant Orruk wants to be a master.
What do you mean?
The shepherd will be Orruk's servant. Then Orruk gives the shepherd the amber for free.
I see. What should I do for you?
Orruk likes blue toadstools. They grow in a cave with a door in the middle of the deer thickets. Orruk always goes to pick mushrooms himself, but now Orruk has a servant. The servant takes the key and brings 6 blue toadstools. Yes.
Give me the key. I'll get you the blue toadstools.
Run, servant, run! Orruk's hungry. Servant, where are the mushrooms?
I don't have any yet.
The master's hungry. The servant runs. Quick, quick! Where are the mushrooms?
You could have warned me about the goblins, though.
Orruk forgot. Goblins always run when Orruk comes.
Here are the blue toadstools. I found them.
Good servant. Quick servant.
How about the amber?
Can't have it, shepherd. Halwyn might make something nice with it for the young lady. All good?
Have you got the amber?
Here's the amber.
Excellent. I've already prepared everything. I'll just put the amber into its setting, so that's it. Satisfied?
Good work, Holwyn. Looks quite precious.
Nervous?
Yeah, a little.
Ah, don't sweat it. She's pregnant. She won't say no.
What?
She hasn't told you yet then.
Ivy's pregnant? How?
Didn't you, know what I mean?
Yes, but...
Well, then you shouldn't be surprised. Here, take the bangle and go see her. You'll be all right.
Come on, go to Ivy now.
Also here, the main character is supposed to say, I got the engagement bangle ring, whatever, and then he would say, okay, go to Ivy now. But yeah,
Everything all
whomever
right.
wrote these storytelling texts, yeah, he or she didn't do a good job.
Nice to see you.
Are you pregnant?
Who told you?
Holwyn,
The idiot!
so you really are?
I've always wanted a baby. Haven't you?
Yes, but that... it's also sudden.
Fair enough. Was there anything else you wanted from me?
Your father gave me his blessing. And I have an engagement bangle here for you. Will you marry me?
Yes, I will.
You will?
I will. One condition, though.
What condition?
Promise me that we'll travel to Argonne right after the wedding.
But you're pregnant.
That's the point! Before I become as round as a ball, I'd like to experience a real adventure and leave this barren island.
Then I should talk to Diego.
Hurry! He was going to leave Feshyr for good. Stop loitering! Go to Diego!
Ah, there you are.
Ivy's pregnant.
What? But you aren't married yet.
Yes,
Does Gromar know?
no, and please, don't tell him.
Good day, shepherd. And shepherd, did the young lady say yes?
She did, practically. If I can convince Diego to take us to Argan after the wedding.
To Argan? Orruk comes from Argan, from Silver Lake. Orruk's brother Daruk still lives there. Perhaps the shepherd meets him and brings him greetings?
Sure, if I meet your brother, I'll give him your regards.
Drop by later.
Now let's kill the envious farmer, jealous farmer.
Nut, what do you want?
Smack you in the mouth because of Ivy.
You really think you can?
You asshole. I'll finish you off.
Well then, let's fight.
I'll turn you into a sheep. Stop! Stop! You win.
Leave Ivy alone. Do you understand?
Yes, sure, yes. I'll leave her alone. Get lost, will ya?
So how can I help you? With a grin like that on your face, Gromar must have given you his blessing.
That he did.
Then let me in on it.
Yeah, welcome to the weird world of Arcania.
Ivy wants to go with me to Argan.
There's a war going on, my friend. That's no place for lovers.
When you started to teach me, you promised to bring me to Argan one day.
Back then, you were going to travel alone. Now Ivy wants to accompany you.
You were a good teacher. I am absolutely capable of protecting her.
You are able to protect her? Prove it.
I defeated you in a duel and killed the goblins, remember?
I was nice enough to let you win, and the goblins were just goblins. In a real fight, you wouldn't have much of a chance. So prove to me that you can protect Ivy, and I'll take both of you to Argan.
Do you want to fight me again?
No. I have a bundle of rare herbs here for Lyrca. Take it to her.
You want me to go to Lyrca? The witch? I'd have to cross the dark forest. They say the wildest animals on the island live there.
You don't have to go. You can stay on Feshyr with Ivy and herd sheep.
Give me the bundle. I'll take it to Lyrca.
All right, here you are, and here's a key, too. Use it to open the door at the end of my cave. Go east until you find a path. Follow it to the northwest. It will lead you to Lyrca's hut. So, have you visited Lyrca?
No, not yet.
As I said, you don't have to do it.
I don't have to, but I will.
Right, before that, there's one more dialogue with Ivy. And after that, I'll go to Lyrca. Yeah, so here's the thing. Compared to Gothic 1, because obviously ArcaniA, as I said, it's a retold story, basically, right? It's, yeah. Anyway, in Gothic 1, when the story starts, you're basically a nobody throwing a colony, and you have to pretty much, well, figure out how to survive, basically, right? Nobody gives a shit about you. And now in Gothic Remake, this is pointed out even more, right? And in here, they start with a love story. I mean, okay, it's okay, but you can see the difference, right? Like, this is a girlish game. Obviously, whomever wrote this, it has to be a girl, right? While in that in Gothic original, the whole story narrative was told by a guy. It has to be a guy, man. It's.
If I can prove I'm capable of looking after you on the journey, then yes.
Well, why didn't you do that right away?
I was going to go to the village first.
You'll take care of it afterwards, right?
So yeah, that one was a man's game. This is a girl's game. No offense, but it is what it is. All right, let's go to Lyrca now.
beach from the dark forest.
I'm not afraid.
Might be, might not be. My nose is telling me. Might be.
Diego sent me.
Yes, I know.
I bring you herbs.
Give them to me.
Here are the herbs. I'll leave then.
Leave? No. You aren't here just because of the herbs.
Diego didn't mention anything else.
Didn't he, eh? But he promised he'd send you. Yes, he surely did.
Why would he?
Because I asked him to.
You? Why?
Because I sensed something right after they found you. Something that must be awakened.
You said you sensed something right when they found me. What did you mean by that?
Alma isn't your mother.
Yes, she is. I'm positive.
No, she's not. Found you on the beach after a stormy night. She did.
I don't believe you.
Ask her when you get back to the village.
Yeah, so basically this is where it's supposed to another side quest to be activated, right? But it's not there. So yeah, this is the second one. It is what it is.
Sensed. Something that must be awakened. I don't understand any of this.
Something slumbers in your chest. Some power. Some magic power.
Nothing I know of.
Yes, yes. I can sense it. It must only be awakened.
How?
Just close your eyes.
Good. I trust you. See, I'm closing my eyes.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's
and
very good.
also, yeah, this is probably the worst voice acting of all NPCs, to be honest. Yeah.
Awake again.
How long have I been sleeping?
Oh, a couple of hours.
What?
Awakening of magic takes its time.
Can I cast spells now?
Maybe. Maybe only make use of magical scrolls.
Where are we here?
In a cave under the dark forest.
I know this cave.
From your dreams.
Yes, that's right. What are we doing here?
Want to do me a favor?
A favor?
Loam vermin are everywhere in this cave. Loads of them, eh? Steel alone won't suffice if you're planning on killing them all. Loam vermins retract into their shells, just like turtles. But you can prevent that using lightning, eh?
With lightning?
Here. Take this magical scroll. Kill the loam vermin. They make my trees sick. And don't forget the queen.
All right, I won't.
If you don't have any more scrolls, come to me. I will give you new ones. But don't you waste them.
Have you got some more magic scrolls?
You still have enough yourself.
I know she's supposed to sound crazy, but this is nothing but crazy, you know? Like, she sounds like she's on, like, illegals or something, like she's high. And look at her hair, man. Her hair just flew off. Even her hair is like, fuck her, I'm out of here. Yeah, she's too high. Okay, anyway, let's get back to the game. Okay, I'm gonna put these on, yeah, on 4. Right. So the reason I did that with spells, right, is because if you're reaching 17 or less, she'll give you again scrolls, right? And if you want to cash in more gold on your first trader you're meeting, which probably will be the Dead Tab or the Slice Tavern, whatever it's called, yeah, for extra money. I'm always doing that. I'm not gonna kill this one obviously with the bow because I want to sell the scrolls, so I'm not gonna use that. So make sure she is not approaching you too much, because otherwise she'll get into her shell. So the idea is make sure she doesn't do that. Yeah, unfortunately, as you can see, it will just ignore you. Look, see, it does. She doesn't care. I think it's the same like in The Witcher. I believe Witcher 3, I think. Or rather all the most old games. I mean the old games, yeah. They used to have these. If they go too far away from their suppose spawning place, yeah, they'll just return.
Come with me, my friend. I will take you to Argan.
I remember like a decade ago they used to have another error this game where basically the videos, the cinematics ones, they wouldn't start. I mean they would play but you wouldn't see them. Apparently they fixed that. Yeah, this head right here is actually the final boss from ArcaniA. Well, not final boss, but a representation of the final boss. Her face, actually.
What do you intend to do now?
Avenge myself upon Robar III and his cursed paladins.
You wouldn't know a sword from a toothpick. They'd mince you.
You want Ivy's death to go unavenged? And what about that of my mother and my friends?
No, but what if there was a way to avenge yourself without storming right into your death?
Let's hear it.
It is said that there is an ancient temple somewhere in the mountains. They say there's a blessed anvil there. Robar's paladins search for the temple because they want to use the anvil to forge weapons for their campaign against Argan.
I see. And I should interfere with their plans.
Exactly. And if the anvil really does exist, forge yourself something to speed your vengeance.
Where should I start looking for the temple?
On the hill back there, in the Cleaved Maiden Tavern, you'll find a mage by the name of Duranis there. He knows a lot of the old stories. Talk to him. Maybe he'll have heard of the temple.
Will you join me?
No. You need to learn to stand on your own 2 feet. I'll be sailing on to Stuart. When you arrive in Stuart, talk to the landlord at the Cliff Tavern. He'll know where to find me.
How do you know about the Paladin's plans?
When I was still at Robar's court, I always kept a watchful eye on Lord Hagen and his men, and many a maid servant of the Paladins kept an ear open for me.
So who is this Lord Hagen?
He commands the Paladins and is a member of Robar's High Council. Well, have you spoken to Doranus?
Not yet.
What are you waiting for? Winter?
Right, so this is where I'm gonna end this video, this episode I mean. So if you guys enjoyed it, don't forget to subscribe, give a like, give a comment, and as always, see you guys in the next episode. Peace.